Welcome to Shruthi and Vishwa's world. Today we're going to be continuing the book Blaire. So let's see Chapter 4. Chapter 4, Cute Little Stinkers. I stared at the app on Grandpa's phone. This or that, being able to fly or telekinesis. This game was one of my favorites, and right now it was way more fun than thinking about a disaster that party had been. Telekinesis, hands down. I touched that choice on the screen. Your mom said you weren't feeling well, sweetheart, Grandpa said. Did you eat something that made you sick? Nope, I said, swiping to the next question. This or that, dog food for dinner or fish food in your water bottle? Neither, but I picked fish food since that was probably dairy-free. Grandpa kept talking. Then why did you leave the party early? You're always the last to leave that group of giggly girls. I shrugged without looking up from his phone. And it's not like you to have your nose buried in a screen, Grandpa said. I didn't answer. Suddenly, he made a sharp right turn. That made me look up. Hey, I said, this isn't how we go home. I was on my way somewhere when your mom called me to come get you. We're headed there now. He glanced at me and the phone in my hand. I might even tell you where if you put that thing down so we can have a real conversation. I sighed and placed his phone on the seat next to me. Do you remember my friend Freddie and his farm, Moonlight Meadow? Asked Grandpa. Oh yeah, I said. He breeds animals, right? Grandpa nodded. Goats and sheep. Then his voice got quieter. He's shutting down and selling off the land. He's getting rid of some furniture and I'm going to take a look at it for the B&B. That's so sad, I said. Why is he closing the farm? Too much competition in the livestock business, replied Grandpa. It's a common story these days. Small farms, no matter what they raise or grow, have to work harder and harder to stay afloat. But Pleasant View Farm is okay, right? I asked. As far as I could tell, our farm wasn't in danger. Actually, business is good, Grandpa said. The crops, the restaurant, the inn are all going well. But there is a lot to keep track of. So why take on more, like fixing up that barn? I perked up at the mention of the barn. I knew Grandpa wasn't crazy about the project, but I couldn't wait for it to be finished. I think the barn's going to be awesome, I said, smiling for the first time since leaving the lake. The parties and the weddings are going to make people happy, and we get to be part of it all. Grandpa shook his head. I'm too old to be part of it all anymore. Grandpa, I scolded, you're not that old. Just wait, I'll show you how much fun it will be. Humph, Grandpa answered, pulling into Freddie's long dirt driveway. When we got to the house, Grandpa and Freddie went into the living room, and I used the bathroom to change out of my damp bathing suit. When I came back a few minutes later, I overheard Grandpa and Freddie laughing. Weddings? Freddie asked. That's craziness. You folks have your hands full as it is, more than full. Exactly, said Grandpa. Why risk ruining everything we have spent so many years building? But I can't talk them out of it. I crept a little closer so I could hear better. I think it might be time for me to retire, Grandpa continued. I can't take the headache. You and I could pack up and move to Florida. What? Freddie was saying something, but I didn't want to hear anymore. I hurried out of the house and down a dirt path to Freddie's livestock barn. My head was spinning. Grandpa would retire? He was the heart and history of Pleasant View Farm. What would we do without him? I reached the barn and stepped inside. The space had an empty quiet, and it made me sad to know that all the animals were gone. Or maybe not. The sound had come from the other end of the building. I walked down the aisle, past one empty pen after another. Bah! Now I saw two little ears low to the ground. I peered over the gate of one pen, and oh my gosh, a lamb, snuggled up on some hay, and oh my double gosh, there was a tiny brown goat too, curled up next to the lamb. It had a black stripe down its back and black legs that made it look like it was wearing boots. "Hi, babies," I squealed, leaning over the gate and stretching out my hand. The lamb sniffed my fingers, its wide, dark eyes staring up at me like it had been waiting for me to get here. "Ba!" Now the goat opened its eyes. "Ma!" "Aw," I replied. There was laughter behind me, and I turned to see Freddie and Grandpa. "They're cute little stinkers, aren't they?" said Freddie. He sighed. The lamb wouldn't nurse and the goat was sick, so I ended bottle feeding them both and keeping them in the same pen. Now they can't be separated, and I'll have to find a place that will take them together. "They need a home?" I asked. Freddie nodded. I looked at Grandpa with my best puppy dog eyes. No, my best little lamb eyes. "Blaire," Grandpa said, shaking his head. "We were just talking about how there's no reason for our farm to take on anything new right now." "But this isn't anything new," I burst out. "There's that old shed and a pen right next to the chicken coop. You said you used to have animals there, so really it's an old thing." Grandpa's face softened. "That's true. I helped my dad build that shed when I was no older than you are now." He came closer to look into the stall. "We had goats and lambs too. Sold the milk and the wool. Folks loved visiting the animals when they stopped by our farm stand." "I read that goats eat poison ivy and stuff," I said, "so it would help the farm. And guests at the inn and the bistro would love a petting zoo, especially families." "A farm with farm animals," said Freddie. "There's no craziness in that, Ben." "I'll throw in the feed and milk and replacer I have left too. They'll need formula once a day for a few more weeks." "You both drive a hard bargain," Grandpa said. He looked at me. "Blaire, this is the happiest you've looked since I picked you up. We'll take 'em. I have no idea what your mom and dad will say, but leave that part to me." I threw my arms around his neck and kissed his cheek. "Thank you." Before I knew it, I was riding in the back of the van next to a giant animal crate. Inside, Penelope the lamb, named after my favorite DIY craft video blogger, and Dash the goat because he had that super cool black racing stripe, were snuggled up together. I thought about how the day had started with the chinchilla on the loose in the house and ended up with 2 new baby animals for the farm. I was just going to ignore the cupcake catastrophe in the middle. Things had gone from bad to good in a way I never expected. Maybe there was a way I could turn Grandpa's opinion of the farm from bad to good too. All I needed was a real event to show him the possibilities. I hope you enjoyed this chapter from the book Blaire. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell button. Bye! Thanks for watching!